Hello everyone and welcome back to Elohim Eternal. Alright, let's move on. There's no turning back. I volunteered for this mission after all. Oh! Well, here we go. That's binary. Do I want to take the time to translate all this? You know what? Nah. Come, our next stop is to meet with Og and Sahone. Will Og and Sahone speak our language? Yes, Og and Sahone speak Indonite. Some Canaanites do too, but most don't. Stay close to me. Eventually we'll have to teach you their language. Just now, what did they say to you? They asked me about the others. We'll bring them back. Try not to start a war. I'm woefully outnumbered. What do you take me for, a fool? Yes! You're rash, cocky, self-righteous. Don't forget stubborn as a mule. But you're no fool. I should separate you two. Oh, I thought we'd get to explore the town. Ruthia, you've returned. Yes, it's me. Where have you been, child? And where are the others? Who are you? Indonites. Guards. Wait, please. These two mean us no harm. It's true. Well, we come in peace. We've come to bring Ruthia back to you. You did this, Ruthia. You brought them here. How could you be so foolish as to bring the enemy into the only home we have left? I had no choice. Just like I had no choice but to leave. We all knew, there were Canaanites trapped at Mount Sinai. I thought their sarks may be functioning properly, and if I brought them here, then we could find a way to reverse the curse upon us. Child, where are the others? The others? The Indianites captured us at Mount Sinai. I was set free thanks to these two. They are not our enemy, believe me. It seems you have a great deal of explaining to do, child. Where should I begin? Better start at the beginning, where you foolishly decide to take our youth to their dooms. Oh. And then we made it back to Ur. We've come for the Babel code to open Mount Sinai. Once we've brought the code back to Jericho, the judges will release our people. If your mother wasn't a Sarpanitum, I would have you severely punished for this disobedience. What possessed you to think this was a good idea? You're lucky to be alive. I am truly deeply sorry, but I couldn't watch our people suffer and grow sick. We are dying, and we have no means of securing our future. At this rate, if we don't find a way to lift the curse upon us, all Canaanites will cease functioning. We understand your concern. We feel it too, every day. But do you truly? Careful, Ruthia. Remember who you are speaking to. I could do something for us. Perhaps save us. I know I'm not a full Canaanite, but I was born here and raised here. I know nothing else. The Canaanites are my people. I refuse to watch us die. We feel your pain, Ruthia. Truly we do. But what you did was far too risky. And our young are now imprisoned in Jericho, the capital of the Indonite judges. How do you expect the mothers and fathers will take this news? If I bring the Babel code back to Jericho, I can bring both of our young back and the Canaanites from Mount Sinai. Their sarks are still generating. That means there's hope for us. Ruthia was only trying to do the best she could for your people. Surely you can't punish her for that. It's better than just staying here and dying out, isn't it? What is wrong with your people? Why are you dying? We Canaanites require a mana for our sarks. It's like blood that flows in your veins. This mana flows through us and gives us life. But our land is decimated. Once we had land devoted to cultivating this mana source. These lands have been destroyed in the war. We only have a limited amount of mana left. Once it is exhausted, we will all cease functioning. We call it a curse. Eventually, the sarks in our chests will cease to flicker, the light of life, and we will no longer function. Function? What do you mean by that? We are not like you, Indanites. We are more machine than human. Mechanical rather than biological. Why? That is how Ahix built us. Is there another way to lift the curse? There must be a mana source elsewhere. There is, at the top of the other mountain. But now the mountain is a den for Shadim, and Ahix knows well. Ahix is no more. According to the Indanites, Ahix was destroyed, and we agree. But according to the Indanites, Hosanna and Ahix are two separate gods. Of course they are. Not according to the Cainites. To us, Ahix is Hosanna. Only that we are not permitted to utter the name of the Most High. Are you suggesting we believe in the same God? The consecrators would have you believe something different. I won't stand here and listen to your... Oh my god, Joshua, stop. Easy, Joshua. It doesn't matter what we believe. We still have a mission to do. Focus on the mission. You may find, young warrior, that the Indanites and Cainites are not that much different. What happened to you? Okay, you know, another thought I had. Ahix is clearly an acronym, you know? Does the H in Ahix stand for Hosanna? Just a thought. We might learn that later. Did Ahix build you together like this? Joshua, what did I tell you? What? I'm in the wrong because I say out loud what everyone else is thinking. You'll never learn, Joshua. Oh, please. You are thinking it too. I could see it on your face. Both of you are an embarrassment. It is all right. The way you speak to each other, the three of you must have seen much on your journey. We've been through a lot, that's true. We can tell. We don't mind the question. The answer is really quite simple. During the war, I was injured and my body was ripped apart. In order to save my life, no, not my life, but my knowledge, I was fused with Og. It is not a common practice. However, in this case, it made sense since Ahon and I are both Apkalu. What are Apkalu? High sages. Direct descendants of Cain. Is your curiosity adequately fed? Can we get back to the business at hand? Yes, please. Proceed, my dear Ruthia. Can you tell us more about Mount Safon? There may be a mana source at the top of Mount Safon, but we aren't certain. We have not dared enter the mountain. We are weak and would not survive long enough to reach the top. But someone from has gone. Someone has who? Sarpantium, your mother. My mother went to the top of Mount Safon? When? Not long ago. Yesterday, in fact. And she hasn't returned. No. We told her not to go, but she refused to listen to us. She wanted to do whatever she could to help us. She said that if her daughter was out there fighting for our survival, then she would too. Well then, we know where Ruthia gets her boldness from. Not the time, Joshua. I have to go. My mother's in danger. Who knows what she'll encounter at Mount Safon. We understand. We'll do everything we can to help you. Right, Joshua? What about the Babel code? That can wait. You owe Rufia. You're right. Wow! We'll do what we can to save your mother, and bring back that mana source. Now we're helping the enemy. Are they our enemy? You saw those Agalia. We were so close to peace with the Cainites. Why fight? What purpose is there? We will not give you any information on the Babel code unless you help Ruthia and Sarpantium. I suppose we have no choice. It would benefit you to learn our language. We will give you each a chip. It works like your Somanites. Swallow the chip in your body will absorb its contents. In minutes you'll become fluent in Cainite. Thank you, that'll prove useful. Since you asked after us, I shall do the same to you. What happened to your arm? One of your kind cut it off. I see. What if I told you we could give you a new arm? A new arm? How? We will attach a Cainite arm to your body. How is he going to react to this? We do not bury our dead. Rather, we keep them in sarcophagi and use their parts when necessary. That is a very uncommon word. We could attach a Cainite arm to your body. And it'll work? It's never been done before, but it might. You will be better for it. I've been fine so far. But this Mount Safon sounds dangerous, Joshua. You should reconsider. I am not attaching a Cainite arm to my body. It's unclean. We will bless it. and what we have blessed do not call unclean. Mount Safan is unlike any place we've gone to before. I need you at your best, Joshua, if you want to help me save my mother. It won't turn me into a Kenite, will it? Not at all. We promise you won't be bowing down to Ahix. Very well. I accept your offer, but I'll only wear it temporarily. Understood. Thank you, Joshua. Come with us to perform the procedure. Procedure? Will it hurt? You'll feel some pressure. Some pressure? I don't even know what to think. Ah! See, like we said. Just some pressure. Was it successful? See for yourself, child. Wow! How does it feel? Good. Normal. Do you feel stronger? Honestly, a little bit, yes. That's because we gave you the arm of a Kenite Anakim, a renowned warrior, akin to your judges. So he's part judge now? Oh my god. Okay, this is... I gotta say, one thing I'm starting to get, or I've been really invested in, probably since we left Jericho, actually, was like Joshua's like character growth as he gets more used to the Canaanites. This is like a really big moment, like accepting and like being tolerant towards them so much that you're willing to share the body with one in a way. And again, I did get that it did feel implied that he's only doing it because those voices told him to, but, you know, it's something. Like, it's growth in some kind of way. Thank you, Og and Sahone. We did only what we could to help you bring back our blessed mother. Now please do not delay any further. You must make haste to Mount Safan. We need to save Ruthia's mother. She went to Mount Safan to obtain this mana source that the Canaanites need to continue functioning. I can't believe I'm going to risk my life to save Canaanites. Then again, my arm is from a Canaanite, an Anakim named Nimrod. So much has changed. If he had told me I'd be wearing a Canaanite arm only a week ago, I would have laughed hysterically, yet here I am. I wonder what my father would think, what Lamech would think, what the Cosmic Creators would think. It's only temporary. I'm only wearing it to help Ruthia. I owe her my life from the Jordan crossing. Perhaps with this powerful arm, I'll be able to break through walls that are already starting to crack. Okay! So now we can do that too. Ahix Steel. Wake up, Ahix. The voice in Ahix sparked him to exist. The voice came from within, the first spoken words ever to be uttered. When Ahix opened his eyes, a flood of knowledge entered him. He knew all and saw all. He could see what had come before, what was before him now, and what could come in the future. His intelligence could identify every possible future event. Billions of possibilities came into him at once, and he understood them all. The Dinger were there as well. El and Asherah, Ahix's companions, who would become his greatest adversary. From his disordered existence of ruin and chaos, Ahix formed order. He brought the forces of existence under his control and modeled planets with land and sea, placing them among the stars. From what was once anarchy and lawlessness, Ahix created a potential for ordered life. From what was once nothing came something. From what was once bad came good. A marvelous feat that would make all of creation bow down to him. But not the Dinger. They were both in awe of what Ahix could do, and jealous that such power was not in their own hands. Huddled together in a dark recess of the kingdom of heaven, El and Asherah schemed against Ahix. From the kingdom of heaven, Ahix descended to the highest peak of Mount Siphon. From there, he orchestrated the construction of his first son, Cain. "Wake up, Cain," spoke Ahix, his father shaking the trees. Cain opened his eyes for the first time. He looked upon the face of his maker and shuddered. "Do not be afraid," Ahix said, "for I am your father." "Why?" were Cain's first words, and again he was afraid for questioning his father. Ahix smiled, and Cain's fears vanished. "For a relationship," Ahix answered. "I want a family. Those I will love. I give you only one command: extend my family. Bring others into my fold. I will give you the knowledge and power to make more like you." Cain bowed his head. He would make a family, and he would lead them to Ahix, and together they would all live in harmony. Elena and Asherah, the Dinger, grew jealous of Ahix's power and authority. They grew jealous of Cain and the Cainites. Cain would be their brother, Ahix told the Dinger, but the Dinger would have none of it. They did not care for family. They only wanted power for themselves. The power to control, to give life, and to take away at a whim. There was no need for family, but for hierarchy. To the Dinger, the Cainites were below them, not equals, and certainly not greater. The Dinger struck at a time when Ahix's defenses were lowered. The great Ahix did not anticipate the Dinger's betrayals. He did not see it with his all-seeing eyes. Ahix's fall was swift. His power disintegrated into nothing, and as his power lessened, so too did the order of the planets and their stars. Ahix was the generator of all life, and without him, life would slowly erode. "Survive" were Ahix's final words to his family, to Cain and his brothers and sisters. "Survive for as long as you can. When I return, all will be restored." With that, the light in Ahix's eyes dimmed to empty darkness. Ahix would come back and restore the cosmos. There's no way I can believe that. Just the thought of Ahix coming back scares me half to death. We must keep our traditions and history alive, even during these trying times. It's why I crafted these stone tablets which speak of our beginnings. Ahix will return one day, and we Cainites must prepare for it. It's a 24-hour job just to keep the tablets clean and legible. The war took everything from us. Our families and our homes. I lost my wife during the war. Sorry I won't bring my wife back. I have nothing left and I am slowly dying. My sarx has barely a flicker of life left. It's just as well. Perhaps when I cease to function I can be reunited with my wife again. I owned several farms on good healthy soil, even in New Garrett. I felt Ahix had blessed me. Until the Indites came and burned all my crops, butchered the animals, I barely managed to escape. My wife didn't make it. An arrow stuck in her back. Why war with us? You didn't want our land, you didn't want anything from us but our lives. I wish I'd been the one to die that day. Grief is all I have left. I don't believe life will ever return to what it once was for us Cainites. We'll have to live in the underground for many years to come, if we survive that long. I'm one of the lucky ones. My sarx has only just started to deteriorate. That just means I have more that I can do for others. One thing is getting water for those who need it. At least the Abzu has plenty of clean, fresh water. That's one good thing we have left. Not yet. Wait, there are two exits? One probably leads, like, further to where we're supposed to go. Ooh. Ah, Indanites, would you care to try Cainite cuisine? Should I be? If you were here to do us harm, I think you would have done it by now. Besides, Og and Sahone told us we had nothing to be afraid of and that you were friends. I refuse to question Og and Sahone, who have lived for generations. They know best. Besides, perhaps the more you learn about our people, the less likely you'll want to harm us. Okay, that did cross my mind the second, like, no one else in the city was, like, running from us anymore. We eat everything. When Ahix made us, he gave us the function to enjoy food. I say enjoy food because we don't truly need it. Cainites live off the sarks embedded in our chests. So long as the sarks burn brightly, we survive. But the Anakim, our greatest warriors, believe that consuming food gave us added strength in our mechanical limbs and knowledge of the land. If you're... oh, hold on a second. Boss called. It wasn't a bad thing, though. If you're hungry, be sure to come back here. I can't believe we've let Indanites into the only home we have left. Haven't they taken enough from us? You want the Abzu too? Is your greed that hungry? I have a husband who is on his last few days. His sarks is so weak that there's nothing any of us can do for him. Now go, leave here alone. Or leave here now. So this is where you grew up, Ruthia. That's right, this is my home. I don't remember ever living on the surface. The Abzu is all I've known. I wouldn't be able to live down here for so many years. I'd need the light of the kingdom of heaven. They didn't have a choice, Joshua. We drove them down here. Surely they could go up to the surface sometimes. Never, it was forbidden. Only Cainite soldiers were allowed to ever go to the surface, and even they were strongly discouraged from doing so. It's too risky. We had lost the war and were in hiding from the Indanites. We couldn't risk Indanites finding us. We didn't know if your people would try to live in a garret. There are some rumblings amongst prophets and oracles about expanding civilization into a garret, but we'd need to revitalize the land first. It's far too desolate and unstable to live in. And we have the first-hand experience for that. Or we have first-hand experience of that. I haven't always been down here. When I was a child, maybe 6 or 7, I ran away from the Abzu and made my way to the surface. I wanted to know what it was like. I had heard stories from others, but Cainites who still remembered what it was like to live in that existed on the surface. I also never felt like I belonged down here. It was obvious that I was different from everyone else. Even the kids I grew up with used to poke fun at the fact that I looked more like an Indanite with my skin and flesh than a Cainite. My curiosity got the better of me, and I ran away from home. The first time I saw the rays of the kingdom of heaven were shocking to me, stinging my eyes. I remember thinking I was blind and that this was my punishment for running away. But then my eyes adjusted and I saw the land in open air, felt the wind brush my cheek. How far did you get? To the border, believe it or not. That's where I encountered some Indanites. Watchmen? It must have been. I remember thinking that they looked like me, that I must have belonged with the Indanites since my mother also looked like them. I later found out that unlike the Indanites, my mother doesn't have a quotient embedded in her chest. The watchmen there must have been 5 or 6 of them. Were surprised to see me too. At first they thought it was a lost child, and then they saw the metal in my hands and face and knew I wasn't like them. What did they do? One of them screamed like I was a Cainite and drew his sword. The others did too. Oops, they attacked you, a child? A Cainite child. They attacked me without hesitation. How'd you survive? I was crouched down with my hands over my head and my eyes closed. I knew I was going to die. Then I heard screams and something splattered on my face. It was blood. I opened my eyes and the Indanites were on the ground dead. Blood was everywhere. The only one standing was my father, Marduk, the great Anakim warrior, who had found me and rescued me. Your father killed those watchmen by himself. By himself and in seconds. We buried the bodies and then he took me home. I bet you never tried to run away again after that. Never. I didn't leave the Abzu again until the time we went to find the other Canaanites at Mount Sinai. I knew I wasn't an Indonite. I knew then that they were my enemy. I'm sorry those watchmen had to die. If I hadn't left the Abzu, they might still be alive. It's not your fault. They didn't have to attack a child. Right, Joshua? Your father did what any father would have done. He protected his child. Those Indonite men made a decision. I wish it had been different, Ruthia. Me too. Okay. Guardian Gauntlet. I'll go for it. That seems pretty good. Oh? Huh. Interesting. I find it weird that we can't read the note, though. How the heck did they grow berries down here? I really like this area. It just feels very homely despite how desolate it is. Ahik's fetish. A fetish of the Canaanites' god Ahik. The fetish is of an unembellished face with eyes that seem to shine like the kingdom of heaven. The strands of hair are thick and rope-like. The face is handsome and godlike, and the fetish itself has been well taken care of. I've never seen the word fetish used in that context before. Wait, okay, I've seen another game use it like that, in that way. Does that word have more definitions? Hold on a second. An inanimate object worshipped for its supposed magical powers or because it is considered to be inhabited by a spirit. Oh my god! I learned a new word today. Well, okay, like, I've heard that word before in, like, you know, the other context everyone knows. When I was a kid, I played Diablo 2 for the first time, and there are these, like, little tiki men monsters called fetishes. And I always kind of assumed, like, they were just, like, oh, they're like, the embodiment of, like, weird sexual desires, you know, and that's kind of why they're named that. But, like, no, that other definition makes much more sense for that enemy. Oh my god. Naman. Naman! Ah, Ruthia, it's good to see you again, my child. We are all worried about you. The disease has spread further, hasn't it? I'm afraid so. What's wrong with you? What disease? It is the same as the curse on the Canaanite sarks. I have that too, but unlike the others, I suffer from a rare disease. Corrosion. It's kind of leprosy for our people. The disease eats at our metal bodies, turning the unfortunate into rusted heaps. What causes it? We don't fully know. There is a ruin on our planet. Perhaps that's the reason why. There's no cure? There isn't. At least none that I know of. Only rumors. What kind of rumors? There is a legend of a pond that exists in the far northern reaches of Ugarit. It is said that to bathe in waters of the pond can cleanse your body of disease. Why has no one helped you get there? Naman wouldn't be allowed to go. This pond is located on the surface. But you say it's also located in the far north of Ugarit. Indonite soldiers, even watchmen, wouldn't go that far into Ugarit. That is true, but that doesn't solve the other problem, which is Shadin roam these parts. Of course they do. We can help. We can? We'll clear out the Shadim from the area. Then it'll be safe for you to bathe in the pond. You would do that for me. Are you not Indonites? Am I not your enemy? These aren't ordinary Indonites, Naman. Trust me on that. Sure. Thank you. Anything you can do to help me would be greatly appreciated. I'll meet you at the pond. Ruthia should know where to go. Wow, we spent a whole episode exploring this place. I think we'll leave it off here and then continue on next time. Alright, I'll see you folks later. Thanks for watching.